Hi, I'm Dr. Pola Rosen. I'm the publisher of Education Update, and we are privileged to be here today with Joyce Cowin, who is a great woman here in New York City. She is a great philanthropist. She has a deep and abiding interest in education, the arts, and improving the lives of children and adults everywhere. We are fortunate to have her in New York City. And Joyce, thank you for letting us visit with you today and sharing your time with us. I wanted to ask you about your philanthropy. How did it begin, and whom can you credit?
Well, Pola, thank you for asking me, and I love the city too. I would not be able to do anything philanthropic if it were not for my husband, Daniel, without whose financial expertise I would be hard-pressed to give anything to any organization. I owe all my generosity to him. So from that, we can go forward to whatever it is that you're most interested in.
And just say a word or two about this wonderful book.
This is a book that I had written about him because our grandchildren, he died over 20 years ago, and our grandchildren never knew him. And I thought, what a shame. He was a very modest, special, bright, warm, intelligent person. And this book, which was written with me and my niece Patricia Beard, is called An Original Eye, which he certainly had. And I'm very proud of the book, I'm proud of him, and I'm happy that he enabled me to participate in the philanthropies that I do.
Joyce, you're on the board of the Folk Art Museum, a founder of the Heritage School in New York City for inner city kids, and on the Teachers College Board of Trustees, among many other organizations. How long have you been on the Teachers College Board of Trustees?
Oh my goodness, Paul. I've been on there, that started so long ago. Someone had called me, I've been on for over 40 years, but they called me. I was also on the Alumni Council. I was chairman of the Alumni Council. I had graduated from Teachers College and I taught briefly. I had children at that point, and I was putting their snowsuits on and their little shoes and socks and everything on, and then I was in pre-kindergarten, I was putting their snowsuits on and taking them off. Anyway, so I kind of left that. But someone from Teachers College, one of the graduates, said they were having a meeting at the Carlisle Hotel. I thought, oh, how interesting. Would I like to join a few girls? We had the best time. I was there for about 5 hours and it seemed like 10 minutes. And they said, would you like to be part of the Alumni Council? I said, yes. What fun, how interesting. And that was the beginning. I went on the Alumni Council. I actually became chair of the Alumni Council. I have stayed involved with the Alumni Council until this very year. And that has to be, oh my goodness, at least 40 years. It was 40 years. And so I'm very proud of Teachers College. I did give them their conference center as my thanks to what they did for me.
And it's beautiful, I can attest to that.
So, and more than that, I think we can talk about later.
Yes. The conference center, incidentally, has been the home for many luminaries who speak about important education topics. You were recently honored by the Jewish Board of Family and Children's Services, over 100 years old, and the organization helps thousands in need from every ethnic group, and you received a standing ovation. I was there and I know you did.
Oh,
can you tell us a little bit something about it?
Well, I received the standing ovation actually for what I wrote, not because I was just sort of standing there and they sort of clapped. And actually, I thought initially they were clapping because the evening was over. But they were clapping because I did write something that I felt very deeply about. And that is, everybody has some rainfall on their parade. And if you haven't, you will. And if you never have, you're very blessed. But the people that we take care of at the JBFCS, Jewish Board of Family and Children's Services, are deluged. They have so many problems, and they have no one to go to. They have no one to help them. And so we're the persons, we're the group, we're the organization. And it is extremely rewarding to see people come out of the doldrums, come out of depressions in deep depressions and go forward. And that is just very heartwarming, tummy-warming, really.
You know, you also founded the Heritage School for inner city kids.
Yes.
And I think one of the students there you wanted to pay tribute to, because I believe his name is Juan. Can you tell us a little something about that?
Yes. Oh, this is the most wonderful thing. When Levine was the head of Teachers College, president of Teachers College, he said, "Is there anyone on the board who would be interested in funding a school for the arts?" And silence. And so I really thought, what a fantastic idea. Of course I'd be interested in funding the School for the Arts, high school for the arts. Well, in their wisdom, the Board of Education decided to put it in Chinatown, which was absolutely ludicrous because all the museums seemed to be up on Museum Mile near the Metropolitan Museum. So that was unthinkable. Finally, we got some space, which is now too small, but we got some space at 106 Lexington Avenue in the Luis Burgos building. And the person we're speaking of, Juan Reyes Carlos, was a drug addict. He was a loser. He was a street urchin. He had nowhere to go, and he had no prospects, and his mother didn't help him, and there was no one to encourage him at all, really. And then somehow he got sent to the Heritage School. And there was a teacher there. It just shows the power of a good teacher, Ron Sauls. And he said to one, he said, you can make it. You can go to college. And he said, me. And he tried, and he studied. And Pola, he did. He went to college. And the most wonderful thing now, he not only went to college, I get so emotional. He is now in the office of the president of Teachers College, Susan Berman. He has that job, and he's studying to get a doctorate. And what a success story. I am so proud of that. To just help one person go forward and get a life for themselves is extremely rewarding. More so, I think, to me than to him. So I am thrilled with that.
It's a very touching story, and I see it brings tears to your eyes.
Well, it does. It does every time. I never get used to it, but it's exciting for me to be able to do that.
Yes.
And hopefully there'll be many more. There are people, I beg them to go to college, and half the school, not enough, always never enough. Go to college, get into college, and they go to college. And I think one of the problems is we have to retool college so that they teach where the jobs are. Community colleges have got to retool their programs for where the jobs are, and then these kids will be able to get the jobs that exist, because there are a lot of jobs.
Well, that's certainly a project for the future, Joyce, and I can already see that you're aiming for another future project, but let's talk about the one that's really almost just about done, and that's financial literacy. And what's amazing about you is not just your passion and your compassion for students, but also you just keep on going. There's always another project. I'm amazed. So
there's
tell us
always
about
something. I mean, it's not a perfect world. I wish it were a perfect world. We could just all go hopscotching around. Well, it isn't a perfect world.
Tell us
and
about
the financial literacy, I have been after this since 2008. And what got to me was the West Coast, where so many people, mainly through Countrywide, bought into the idea that for $25,000, $30,000, $50,000, they could have the home of their dreams. Oh, they had 2% mortgage, and there it was, everything they'd ever wished for, everything they ever wanted, and they were so excited and so enthusiastic, and they couldn't believe their good fortune. And then, as you know what happened, they lost everything. They lost the home, the mortgage got raised, not that long a period of time afterwards. They couldn't pay for it, they gave up the home, they had no money, and now nobody's talking to them. All these people who were so interested in selling them and talking to them and buying the home, now they have nothing to do with it. And they're just, it's unthinkable in this country that could happen. And they were snookered. And this is an anti-snooker bill, and I have tried since 2008 to do something about this. Well, I want to tell you, I struggled along, and then I found this phenomenal person who happened to be the editor of Education Update. And she opened these doors. She just opened doors. She had keys all over the place. And she was able to eventually, with the help of Teachers College and Dr. Anand, this is now a mandatory subject, financial literacy, in New York City and New York State through the offices and auspices of Dennis Wilcott, the Director of Education of New York City, and John King, the Director of the Department of Education of New York State. And well, we will be training. Dr. Anand has written a fantastic program. We will be training Teachers College teachers, and they will teach financial literacy, which will be molded into, or folded really, into a class that every student in this state has to take. And they're going to learn to look for the red flags. And when someone comes along and offers them a 2% mortgage and the house of their dreams, they're going to say, wait a minute.
And just as an addendum, Joyce, I spoke to one of your close friends, Dick Parsons.
Oh, really?
We all in New York City, at least, we know Dick Parsons as the former CEO of the Citigroup. And he said that he thought it was a phenomenal idea, and that he began learning about financial literacy in elementary school when he had to save a little money in the bank. They had bank day in those days, and he never forgot that. And I think he accumulated $69 by the time he was in the 6th grade. But it's such an important time.
Good idea, and good for Dick Parsons, because he is a very special person. And I think financial literacy is just necessary for any student and any person in this day and age.
Thank you, Joyce, for letting us come and speak with you today. This is wonderful, and I know that it's going to be a phenomenal program, and we hope to take it nationwide. Our next stop, Washington, D.C.
Yes, United States, here we come. All of you, all the states, hopefully. Thank you, Pola. Thank you so much.